Bedford County is a small rural county about an hour south of Nashville. We have a very diverse population with high poverty and a very high Hispanic population. Most of our teachers that we have in our county grew up either in Bedford County or in a surrounding county. And so most of them have that rural background and were taught the basics. A lot of times there was not an emphasis on American history.
Prior to Bedford County receiving the TAH grant, we did a good job in teaching social studies and the different histories, but the grant has allowed us the exposure to the resources that are extremely important, and I believe the increased awareness of the teachers has really impacted the students' interest in history and knowing where they came from.
The Teaching American History grant is a federal grant that we received, and it is to help to integrate American history through all subjects in our schools. The money spent for the grant in our county has several different aspects. One of those being we have speakers to come in and train our teachers. We have also scheduled trips. We have had one to Williamsburg and also one to Washington, D.C., in which we had administrators as well as teachers experiencing American history firsthand.
The trips were really neat. I enjoyed them. We got to go to Williamsburg and got to see how colonial life was, and I got to experience that. And it's really neat to experience it versus reading about it in a textbook.
It was a whole lot of fun. We got to meet people that were dressed up and acting out the characters. Probably the part that I liked the best was when we went to the slave plantation, because it taught us a lot of information that I had never known. One of the things in third grade that they are most interested in is the concept of slavery. And when we discussed that, it was really nice to have that perspective in the pictures that I took to be able to explain the types of things they did, the way they were treated, and so it gives the children kind of a different perspective of slavery.
The second trip was to Washington, D.C. in a little bit larger group. I received the experience of actually being where history was made. We can read about it, but to actually experience it was a tremendous experience for me.
Whenever we discuss things in the classroom, I'm able to pull up pictures from our trip and say, look, you know, this is where we were at, and this is the actual place we're talking about. Here's a picture of me there.
Today we have an American History Conference in Bedford County, in which we have presenters coming in from all over to help teachers to understand and better teach history in our classes. The conference kicked off with the keynote from George Washington, and that started the theme for the day.
When I was 19, outside events began to intrude upon my life. Now, the King of France and the King of England have always had a differing view about who owned much of North America.
The purpose of the TAH conference is to bring in professional speakers to present both content knowledge and strategies. This content knowledge they can go back and share with their students, and the strategies they will be able to use in their classrooms to improve student learning and engage students.
The American History Grant has provided a lot of software and technology for teachers. We want all of our teachers to use that as a tool for instruction, and this grant has provided that for our county.
The software that I use the most is the web lessons. It came into my life at just a perfect time. We were trained on it at the time that I started teaching a homebound student, so I use it with her every week. They get excited whenever they're doing history lessons using web lessons, and they do get achievement results immediately. It has a pre-test and a post-test, so they can see how they've progressed throughout the lesson, from what they knew at the beginning of the lesson to what they knew at the end of the lesson.
I was just recently introduced to the web lessons. It's a great way to review on your history, and they have videos and audio.
Students who just have to sit and look at books, they're going to do everything but if you're on a computer and it's real time, they'll go with that.
I think since I've been involved in the TAH grant that I've been encouraged to use more technology, encouraged to use more pictures and more primary resources in my teaching.
It allows you to experience things that you probably would never have experienced, and allows you to personalize your teaching. I think my teaching has become a lot more exciting because of what I have learned.
In a co-teaching environment, it really lends itself well to the activities that we gleaned from the trips and use of all the resources.
We have a motto in Bedford County Their future is our future. The grant supports that motto in the fact that we are giving students background of our history and how that is going to affect their future and our futures.